What's up, everybody? I'm Leo Reyes Rayon,
And I'm Josh Glazer.
and today we're going to be talking about the Cowboys draft. Now, with the Cowboys aren't Texas, so I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of I guess like if they're in the playoffs, I don't know. I don't cheer against them like I guess a lot of other people do.
So they're kind of your side chick.
I guess so, man. But yeah, man. So shit. I mean, let's just get down to the nitty gritty, man. I think they had a very good draft. They they addressed. I think Tyler Badass was uh kind of like the sleeper pick. Yes, I know for any asshole that comes on here, I did just call him Tyler Badass. I mean, what other way can I say his name? I mean, that's as badass as just badass. I mean, whatever, bro. But yeah, I think I was kind of like a sleeper pick. In the mid to late rounds, they replenished their interior guard needs with a lineman that went to a solid lineman school that they run the hell out of the ball. We know that the Cowboys, hopefully, Mike McCarthy runs the hell out of the ball. You know what I mean? And then they shocked everyone. I mean, I don't know if that was that much of a shock, but they shocked everyone and got CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? And then second pick they got Trayvon Diggs. I just think that overall, man, they had a very good draft. They ended up getting that D lineman out of Oklahoma. I'm forgetting his name off top.
Neville Gallimore.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think they had a good draft. I mean, to be honest, I think that they probably. I'm trying to think before I say this. I think that well, I think they're in the front seat to win that division. I mean, but they have been for the past 10 years, I guess. But it always tends to like fall apart. But I mean, I feel like this is a little different because I don't know. This team kind of looks like those old Cowboy teams, kind of with Tony Romo, with all the skill position players, and then I mean, obviously the line is older, but I mean they did. I guess they might end up playing badass at center. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
he is a good chance to start at center.
Yeah, yeah. So
They're
I
getting
mean,
their Connor McGovern, who's they've drafted previously in the mid rounds.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think they're in a good position, man. Honestly, you know what I mean. So what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, I think it's one of those drafts that'll win the draft initially, as in
Mm-hmm.
sexy in terms of the names and the schools that the players went to. And I do
Mm-hmm.
like CeeDee Lamb. I do like Trayvon Diggs, but I like Trayvon Diggs where he might have a better chance to develop maybe for a little longer than have to probably start right away or play right away. I mean, maybe he can play right away, but I don't know. I just have a bad taste in my mouth with Diggs with just some of the more elite talent he played against last year,
Mm-hmm.
specifically LSU. I kind of gauge everyone's defensively against LSU and how they, because those are all NFL level guys that he went up against, and he kind of got it handed to him by Jamar Chase. But I mean, not everyone's gonna be as good as Jamar Chase, but I digress. Neville Gallimore, I really like that pick. He's a good penetrator. He replaces what they had in Malik Collins. CeeDee Lamb is just a damn good receiver. I think he's at number two. A lot of people like him a little more than I do. I think the whole top of the draft was a lot of number two receivers, which is fine, but they just don't expect them to be their production to be crazy unless there is a really high level of targets sent their way. Um, I really like the Bradley and I pick out of Utah in the fifth round. He was a guy that really was mocked in the second, third, fourth round range, and he just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to give them another rotational end. They draft a quarterback at the end, whatever. Ben DiNucci went to James Madison. I don't know what the deal was that. I think I've heard multiple teams liked him, but whatever. They, I feel like they could. I think CeeDee Lamb was probably too good to pass up in the first round, but there
Yeah.
were other players on the board that probably could have uh, been more of an impact for them at positions that they may have needed more.
Well, I mean, okay, let's look at it. Okay, like maybe O line, maybe they could have drafted, I guess, uh, the guy that the Saints drafted, Reeves. You
That's
know,
probably too early. I'm not even
yeah,
thinking about
yeah,
that.
I mean, like maybe they go. I mean, I feel like for that place, bro. I honestly, it did shock me when I first saw it. Like I was shocked that they were that aggressive, and like what I mean, and they went out and got a receiver. But I don't think that. I think that it was a good pick. I mean, it took me like 2 or 3 minutes to really wrap my head around it, especially because I don't think even well, we did talk about them needing a slot. I mean, another receiver, I think, but I mean,
Yeah,
like,
more of a slot though. Less. I mean, I know
but
CeeDee
but
Lamb was
but
kind of
see,
good at Oklahoma as a slot,
but see,
but
this is the thing though. Like, I think that it's a good pick for versatility in that like he can play outside, but see what this does really is it lets Cooper like they could literally move Cooper anywhere they want. You know what I mean? And if there's a favorable matchup for him inside, they can move him inside. I
yeah,
mean, hell, they could put Gallup inside. You know, I mean, they have. I know that. I mean, nobody is that high on Blake Bell. I mean, Blake Bell is an average tight end, but I mean, this can open up the field for him. I mean, Zeke. I mean, this was a good pick to kind of like. I mean, honestly, just for every offensive player they already had to kind of just give them like a little bit more freedom. I think and I mean, Dak like I mean, honestly, I know that, a lot of people don't like Dak. I think that Dak is good enough to win with this team. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
like,
We don't have to get into that argument, but because I differ a little bit, but with CeeDee Lamb, one cautionary tale with him is that we really haven't seen any examples of guys coming out of that system and at Oklahoma and being a legit heavy target receiver. We just haven't. There's nobody out there right now, and I know everyone's system is kind of the same, but you have to maybe wonder if how he would have performed in other places. I think he's a good receiver, and I think you're right. It does add to the receiver, add to the offense in a way that no other offensive pick probably would have done.
mm-hmm.
But my issue is that there was players on the defensive side, like a Kinlaw specifically.
No, Kinlaw was gone.
At 17, he wasn't gone at
Yeah,
17.
he was gone at 13. Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina, right?
Oh, he did. He went that
Yeah,
early.
he went to
I'd have to look back at the board, but there were other defensive players.
I mean, okay, Chason was there.
That would have been nice to add some speed to that defense because they lit
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
They don't have Quinn anymore.
But I mean, like people, that was the thing. Like people didn't have a lot of people didn't have Caleb Von Chason that high on their board. Like a lot of people didn't really have a first round grade for him.
That's actually not factual, but
Well, I mean, like well, like what I'm saying is like, okay,
okay. I know. Yeah, Lamb was a higher value, right?
I mean, like basically what I meant with that was okay. Maybe I shouldn't have said first round grade, but a lot of people didn't have him. Like a lot of people were like high or low on him. You know what I mean? So like, if anyone was to drop, I guess I would have. And if any one of the edges, I mean, I don't know. He went where he went. I guess. I mean, I wasn't shocked where he got drafted. That's what I'm saying. Uh. But yeah, I mean, I think that it was a good pick, man. I mean, like we'd have to go and examine the board and like look who was there. But I mean, all of the badasses were. I mean, they were still there, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like I thought it was a good pick. The pick that I was kind of more shocked about was Trayvon Diggs. You know what I mean? I was kind of I know that he's a talent, he's a very good athlete, but I thought that if I was gonna go corner there, I personally liked, I liked Fulton more. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah,
mean,
that's definitely a player that I would have rather had there. But
yeah, that was shocking to me, but But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I never thought I would turn and Skip Bayless and vouch for the Cowboys. I guess like two
No, I mean,
Cowboys.
there's nothing when they do right. I just think there could have been. Trying to look real quick to see,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, some of the other players that kind of struggled. I mean,
First round draft picks. Let's look, man. I'm gonna just look at the board real fast.
I got it right here.
Okay.
So they drafted at 17.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
They could have added. They could have had the linebacking crew from hell and drafted
Murray.
Kenneth Murray. Yeah, or I would have probably gone Chase on. Um, but
Yeah, he
yeah,
was a few picks behind.
it's not a bad pick. I'm looking. I don't really see anybody that I would.
I mean, if you say cornerback there, like you're saying, like
Yeah, I don't know how they viewed their corners. I personally, like you, I had Fulton would have been I would have liked him at 17, but I guess there was a disconnect there. I think Fulton's issue was his injuries.
yeah.
He's been banged up throughout his career a little bit.
I mean, hell. I think I even said that I thought they was gonna take Delpit around there. So I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
was
I
way
really like
off.
Delpit a lot, and so do I.
Uh,
Yeah, but
but I mean,
obviously they're not going to draft safety that high. They never have. We should have seen that coming because they both their safeties are like borderline undrafted guys or late round picks.
yeah, yeah,
Xavier Woods and Heath, and now I think it's Clint Dix is their new safety,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he's on like a garbage bin discount.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a good value in terms of position, but I think that they could have really. I mean, if I were them, probably would have. I don't know. Could have traded back. There's other options. I think the pick is fine because that's who was there, and he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
probably a lot higher on their board than everyone else.
I mean, but looking at their team now, like they are the best. I mean, at least offensively, they're the best offense on paper. In the, I mean, I know that we're kind of gauging this
Yeah,
off
no,
of the
no, you're
rookie.
right. They are the best offense. I just have
Yeah,
a lot of questions with their defense,
yeah,
and that's why I don't think their draft was as good as it could have been. Like if they had switched out Fulton for Diggs there at corner at number 2, or gone safety with Delpit maybe at 2, or whatever, what have you.
yeah, yeah. I think that was the more to me that was the more shocking pick. That was more shocking in actuality, I guess, than CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? But and like I said, like I know there's people that were super high on Diggs. You know what I mean? There's people that was more high on Diggs than any of the LSU defensive backs. So like, I mean, all of this shit is just speculation at
And
this
there's
point.
a lot of potential with Diggs, but the problem is they are right now creating
They
a
need a
situation
corner.
where they're in win now. They're in win now right now
Mm-hmm,
because you don't know much longer you have of Zeke, and
mm-hmm.
hopefully these receivers probably have had a chance to take the pressure off of them. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because now they have two guys that aren't necessarily field stretchers in both Gallup and Lamb. Neither of those guys are super fast. Also, they only have one guy that's decently fast, and Cooper, and he's not really a burner either. So
Yeah,
it'll be interesting how they are able to stretch the field. They're going to have to probably play more in between the hashes, and that's going to probably set up Dak to have to be even more accurate than he had to be before, which is kind of a concept that's interesting. They don't their tight end is Blake Jarwin, who is questionable but has upside potential there. We don't have to turn this into a complete Cowboys pod, but I think the Lamb pick was he's a good receiver for that spot. I just feel like their defense was a bit much bigger issue than their offense. And I don't know, I don't have as necessarily a single player that I would have taken there, but I feel like trading back and getting more picks and adding to the defense probably would have been a more holistic approach.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because they could have. I mean, I guess like if they go defense there, they could have waited and got Mims or you
Or
know,
or like you said, they say, hey, we're gonna make sure our strength stays our strength, and they go out and they maybe draft Cesar Ruiz. We would only been 7 picks earlier than the Saints.
Yeah,
He's still the best interior lineman in this draft. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
that would have
man.
been a more that would not be that would not have been a Jerry Jones pick. Put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. This
He
was
wanted
a
to pick.
this.
He wanted to pick Manziel when they picked Zach Martin. So that kind of tells you where
I
his mind.
mean, this was a very Jerry Jones pick, but I just feel like it's gonna work out. Now, like I have, he's from Texas. He played in the Big 12. Like this was a very, very like homegrown Texas pick. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, I guess I'm happy about that. I think personally though, man, I view him as being like I don't know, man. He CeeDee Lamb, man, he plays with like he's a very versatile player. Like I know he doesn't have like the craziest 40 time, but like I mean, he's just like he's a gamer. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know. Well, the
Yeah,
thing is,
we all know this.
yeah,
Like
we know about him. The thing is, though, when you start calling guys gamers, it's like obviously they're good receivers, but there's a point where it's stylistically you need a different flavor to the receiving core.
yeah, yeah. Well,
They haven't really added that yet. They haven't added that speed element. So they're going to be slower, which is part of their issue. Is they've never been a very fast offense yet,
yeah.
which kind of hurts them because Dak is less. Dak has to make more plays if they don't have a breakaway player that gets a lot of yards after catch.
Well,
Because those
well.
receivers are great against yards after catch, except Lamb has that ability. But he also did it in a division that wasn't quite defensive in nature.
I mean, dude, Lamb. This is one thing I'll say like about Lamb is like I said, I went back. I think right before the draft, I went back and watched the previous. I mean, I feel like the last game against LSU, I feel like he didn't really do that much. I didn't really look at that one, but the game against Oklahoma with him and Murray, he looked really good. You know what I mean? Like he did like you could say that okay, his first half was shitty. You know what I mean? People say that like you could say that they lost. But at the end of the day, they put up I think 30 plus points on Alabama. You
Yeah,
know what I
well,
mean?
I mean, the truth is though, 30 plus points against that Alabama defense doesn't really mean shit
Well,
after what Clemson. But I know what you mean in
they they,
terms of
they play
yeah.
they play well. You know what I
But
mean? Like
the counter to that is, and I hate doing this because I like Lamb as a player, but the counter to that is that Murray was an elite college quarterback, and Dak is not an elite pro quarterback.
okay,
So
and,
that's the issue where.
okay. So now we're here. All right. So now
And I
this
know you're going to say Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback.
no, well, I mean no, but I can't believe that I'm gonna go here, and I never thought in a million years I would maybe vouch McCarthy, but like I'm wondering now, like how is like will McCarthy be able to put these guys into situations that is favorable? Because I mean, looking back at the Green Bay team that was good, like none of those receivers. I mean, they were fast, but they didn't really have like an absolute burner. I don't think so. Jennings wasn't.
Jordy Nelson was a track star. Just
What
because
was
he's
his 40
white
time?
doesn't mean he was slow.
Okay, like was he really that much faster than
Greg Jennings ran fast. I mean, Donald Driver was legit fast. He was just
he
older.
was old as hell, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I know he doesn't count, but I mean,
Uh,
I don't know who else they had. I can't remember back then. It's too long ago.
was Jordy Nelson wasn't that much faster than
At that time, he was.
I mean he wasn't that much faster than what's his name than Cooper.
No, he's about the. I know, yeah, but see, then again, you're going to compare those two, but then again, Dak is nowhere, can't even sniff the
Yeah,
jock.
yeah, yeah. I mean I'm just talking. I'm purely just talking about the skill position players. You know what I mean? Like I think that I mean now I know I'm basically saying that Michael Gallup is gonna be like a fucking what's my guy's name Jones. I mean I feel like as a team, like they had like that group of receivers was more explosive than this group of receivers. Like I'm not saying that this group of
I
receivers
don't actually agree
is
with
as
that. I think this group is probably better than that group. But the
I mean,
quarterback.
I mean explosive as in like we were just talking about like team speed. Like I wouldn't say
Oh yeah.
I would say generally like for instance, I mean, I guess well yeah, so they're a little bit faster, but what I was saying was it wasn't like they had a bunch of fun. It wasn't like Kansas City, I guess. I guess now that we're all jaded because
No
like
one's Kansas City.
well we all see like now like when I think people think of burners, they think of that. You know what I mean?
They just think of every team as a burner. Burners like Deshaun Jackson, a Ted Ginn, Demarcus Robinson, whoever, Henry Ruggs. Those under 4-4 players basically is how I kind of see it.
Yeah.
Guys that consistently take the top off. But yeah, I think the trap for Cowboys fans here that they have to be careful about is you really have no idea what the Mike McCarthy offense is going to look like because he was so heavily ridiculed during his time in Green Bay. People don't remember this, but he was so heavily ridiculed with how simple and
Yeah.
mundane the offense was
They
with
said it was a high school
Rodgers.
offense.
Yeah, it was a high school offense. And that was with freaking Aaron Rodgers at the helm. So now you have Dak there, who's nowhere near. Like, Dak is a great guy, and he's a good quarterback, but he's not a guy that's going to elevate your offense unless you're going to come in and do some completely weird shit, which is possible, where they're running like triple option and kind of really doing a good job of misdirection. And maybe that happens because McCarthy's been out for a year. But I do agree that the Cowboys and the Eagles are the two top of the division, but I don't think it's as clear now after the rest of this draft played out.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles have their own issues, and we can get onto that at another pod. But yeah, I think you got to be careful what you wish for, because if you want that old Green Bay offense, it's not going to do anything because you don't have the only reason that team won a Super Bowl was because Aaron Rodgers would elevate it to a point with all these scramble drill plays. And it wasn't even the design plays that got most of their big plays at that time, which is
that's true.
the scary part. And Dak really doesn't have that in his game.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's gonna be interesting. But you brought up Philly, and I mean, Philly still has that big ass scary defensive tackle. So I mean,
They got multiple.
so it's just kind of like, I mean, that's always gonna be a problem. But I feel like from a weapon standpoint, I mean, their corners are still iffy. You know, what I mean, I forgot they got Slay. Wow. So we'll see, man.
If you want to talk about iffy corners, you got to look at the Cowboys.
I mean, they both suck.
Yeah. Not very good.
Okay, I mean, I guess before the addition of Slay, I mean, you know.
Yeah, but now they have a lockdown guy, and the Cowboys
so,
lost lockdown.
We'll see, man. It's gonna be an interesting season for the Cowboys and the whole NFC East. I mean, hopefully they stay healthy so we can actually see some like real meaningful games towards the end. You know,
this is a new look for you, Leo. Standing for the Cowboys. I never thought I'd see this side of you. It's kind of strange. I feel like you should have on your big old Texas hat, 10-gallon.
Yeah, man. It's in the other room. I should have put it on. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think we kind of said our piece about it.
Yeah.
In summary, both agree that Lamb is a good player. You think it was the right pick. I think they probably should have traded back there and try to really build up that defense even better because I think the offense is good enough. But that's where we differ in our opinions.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So this is the Raising Glaze podcast. I'm Leo Rayon.
I'm Josh Glazer.
And like and share and sub and subscribe.
We are the Raising Glaze podcast, and we will be back eventually.
Yep.